Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today, Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. Send us some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you're going through something and you need them out there today. Today, first off, Merry Christmas. Hope you had a great one to all of you out there who celebrate. Happy holidays. New Year around the corner as well. A new year in Raid Shadow Legends. That means a new faction in Raid Shadow Legends and a whole lot more. But I am excited to see what this faction is. I think we're going to be getting our very first a champion for the faction very early in the year as well. And then there's going to be a delay, and then March will be the full unveiling of all the other champions. I remember this happened kind of sort of in Sylvan. We had Elva first before anybody else. And then in Shadowkin, we actually had Yoshi the Drunkard first, if I recall correctly, on both of those factions before any other champions. So I'm excited for this Greco-Roman themed faction. Anyway, on to the point of the actual video. I don't know why I went into that rambling state here talking about the new year or whatever, but I want to talk about a daily login champion, I guess keeping with the motif of winter, in ice, in frost, right? Think about this game over the last year. Let's think about 2025. In Raid Shadow Legends looking back, right? There's one particular champion who keeps getting soft buff after soft buff after soft buff again and again and again. And that is a daily login free epic champion who's actually, I think, better than ever today in both PvE and PvP. And she's a 120-day champion. Of course, I'm talking about the amazing Dark Elhaine. It's been a few years since I've talked about or covered this champion, and what a great time to revisit her today because of all the changes they made in the game. Now, when I speak about changes, there's really two categories. There's the content, and then there's the meta of Raid Shadow Legends. Let's talk about the meta briefly in Raid Shadow Legends. There's Sir Nick, who has freeze now for days, irresistible freeze on his A1 ability, right? So now he's a freezer as well. But of course, his companion, Lady Noelle, is one of the strongest freeze champions in the game, right? They just buffed Glishia Soul Guide. Where are you, Glishia? Right in front of my face somewhere? There, indeed, right in front of my face. Now she's an incredibly capable AoE freeze champion in the game. But not only that, they went in there, they gave a massive buff earlier this year to Gurgo the Augur. He's now a buff remover, replacing the buffs with freeze. A great freeze champion here in Gurgo the Augur. What did they just add to the game, ladies and gentlemen? Hilvi. She's all about the freeze. And now we're seeing more and more Tormin back in the arena. And if there's one debuff that really defines Tormin the Cold, yeah, it's freeze. So what is my point here? Freeze is more meta than it's ever been inside this game in the game's entire history. I also anticipate in 2026 that we will see a buff to another freeze champion in Polera Fireheart, right? I'm expecting a buff to Polera, and she's another AoE freeze and freeze synergy champion where the freeze can't be resisted. Now, this all ties in, obviously, to Dark Elhaine's kit, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But it's not just that. The other category of ways that she's gotten soft buffs over the years is all the additional content in this game that now we engage in freeze, so the freeze debuff. So let's talk about it. It used to be back in the day, and I repeated this for years, you know? For Faction Wars and Doom Tower waves. And that was pretty much it, right? There was dungeon waves, of course, as well. But now we have Cintranos in Grim Forest, where we encounter tons of these champions. I don't know what it is, but I was looking at my Cursed City on hard mode, and then I was looking back at my Grim Forest, right? I'm on normal rotation right now, but I've completed hard, and I was looking at all the freeze that we have to go against. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not just Cintranos or secret rooms anymore. It's most of the content in the damn game. I'm talking even in epic-only areas of Siege, right? We can use an anti-freeze or a freeze team, right? But there's a lot more content that gives us the availability of epic champions like a Dark Elhaine. So I'm talking about Grim Forest. I'm talking about, again, Cintranos, Faction Wars Hard, Faction Wars Normal, and then Doom Tower. Let's just look at Doom Tower alone. I was looking at these floors, man. Every floor has freeze on Doom Tower Hard. Gurgo the Augur. There's actually other, waves as well. A Whirlum Frost King. The beautiful thing about Dark Elhaine, which we'll talk about in just a moment, is she doesn't need just herself to get freeze. She just needs one ally on the entire team that you have to get freeze. So even a champion like a Whirlwind Frost King, who has a 60% freeze on all enemies that can't be resisted, you just need one. Just need one ally to get one freeze, and it instantly activates, of course, her Death's Majesty ability. But look at these floors, guys. Look at these floors. Freeze there. More freeze. Whirlum. We got 117. Oh, we got more freeze. 116, we have no freeze here, but guess what? Sir Nicks are in the second wave, so there's freeze there. I was looking at this floor. 100 and, look at this. Sir Nick, Tormin, Gurgo. I mean, let me go ahead and take a look quickly at Dark Elhaine, talk about why she's so incredible. Then we'll do this floor, and we'll use her in the arena as well. I'm going to show you my favorite arena build for Dark Elhaine. We'll talk about other options for you guys as well. Dark Elhaine, listen, I'm not sitting here saying she's better than mythical champions, but I'll tell you what. She's really nasty now. She's better than she was, I think, when they introduced her to the game. We're not even talking about Ice Golem, who freezes your allies. We're not even talking about Frost Spider, who freezes your allies. There's so many opportunities, and it's not just the damage. It's an AoE decreased speed, big version, 3-turn cooldown, 2-turn duration. Man, she's got a lot to be excited about. Such great control in her kit as well. On her A1, destroys targets max HP by 30% of the damage inflicted. Honestly, a 30% destroy max HP of the damage is not bad at all, right? Sneaky little A1 ability there. And I think, I've said this before, but I think destroying max HP is probably one of the more underrated things in this game. A lot of players, not most players, but a lot of players, they just kind of like, okay, cool, destroy max HP next. Nah, man, that's a really good ability, right? That's 30% of the damage inflicted. I mean, you know, it's a lot of HP. Even if we're hitting them for 50k on this A1, for example, obviously, we're going to be able to get 30% of 50k, which is 15,000 HP reduced from their max HP, making them squishier and easier to kill. Death's Majesty. She brings her own increased attack. Big version that she places on herself before, because it's then attacks all enemies. This is the thing about Dark Elhaine, right? It's the little things like this. She brings her own increased attack. You don't need an Arbiter. You don't need an increased attack champion on the same team with her every single time. You can always get the amount of damage, or at least close to the max amount of damage she's able to provide, because she provides it on the same ability that's going to be instantly activating. And then she has 2 passives. That's it. I'm not running her Merciless, as you can see today, but Merciless specifically is very good on Dark Elhaine, and if I was only running her in PvE, I would consider running the Merciless up to the Ignore defense, because at 4-piece Merciless, who do I have in Merciless gear built right in front of me right now? Here we go, Siegfried. 4-piece Merciless, 30% chance to decrease a random skill's cooldown by 1 turn when dealing damage, plus you get all the attack stats in the Ignore defense, right? So, hey, a 6-piece Merciless for PvE is very good on Dark Elhaine, because she only has 1 active ability, right? 2 passives, 1 basic A1, and then 1 other active ability where we can keep reducing that cooldown, okay? Lethal Winter fills a champion's turn meter by 25% and then instantly activates Death's Majesty whenever this champion or an ally receives a freeze debuff. It's a 1-turn cooldown, but it is like a Gatling gun. Man, it's crazy. Veins of Ice. It instantly removes any freeze debuffs on this champion and replaces them with one of these buffs as well. So she can't be frozen. She's going to remove it. She's going to give herself a buff instead. She's going to fill her turn meter by 25%, whether it's her or anybody else who gets the freeze. She's going to activate that Death's Majesty. Usually that's going to push her towards her next turn, nice and easy with a 25% turn meter boost. And then you can use Death Majesty if you want to, if you have it available. And then boom, the cooldown is already done on the Lethal Winter. You can do it again, right? Oh, what a nasty little champion. I've always loved Dark Elhaine, but lately I've been using her, I've been enjoying her a lot more. I think that even endgame players, if you're going against Tormin, Lady Noelle teams, like either of those 2 combos, you can sub or draft her, in live arena, or just run a Dark Elhaine team in regular arena as like a secret weapon against freeze teams. I wouldn't run Dark Elhaine, especially in endgame, as a main nuker, but you use her as a counter nuker, right, to those sort of champions, freeze champions. All right, so I've talked long enough here. I do have Savage and Stone Skin on her. Stone Skin is obviously unnecessary If you're just using her mainly in PvE content, I would prefer Merciless gear, but you can run her in simple Savage or Lethal set, plus a Perception set to ensure that you're landing the decreased speed. I am a little light on my accuracy, but I love having Dark Elhaine in terms of her build. 2 tips for you guys. I'm trying to, no matter where you are in your account, I'm trying to get away from going accuracy on her banner to really try to min-max her damage with attack. Same thing on her boots. Dark Elhaine is one of those champions. If you're using her as an anti-freeze option on your team for wave content, for boss content, or in the arena, it's nice if you can try to sneak in attack percentage on your boots instead of speed, because most of her damage is coming from the instant activations, which obviously is agnostic to her speed. It doesn't matter how fast or slow she is. I just made a video talking about my favorite slow nukers in the legendary rarity. Maybe I'll do one for epics as well. Other than that, attack percentage on her chest and crit damage on her gauntlets. Ideally crit damage with crit damage, but attack works as well. And again, we're just trying to find some accuracy, some speed, some crit rate. I tried to use, not my best gear, even though all my gear is frankly pretty good on the account. And I do want to point out that I have her at +4 empowered. I don't have her fully awakened though. I think I'm going to add her to my wish list. I'm going to do that in just a moment, but Wand of Submission on her, obviously Wand of Submission is amazing on any champion, but Wand of Submission works. If you're going to use her in longer battles in PvE, Arythi Coronet works very well. It gives her attack, and then her damage increases by 1% each time they place a debuff, which really synergizes nicely with the decreased speed that she has on her A2 ability. In terms of her blessing, I have her in Crushing Rend right now, but frankly, with all those instant activations in PvE, I would rather go with Cruelty. You're going to get that defense down on the boss pretty quickly, again, because she's going so often out of turn. I love attack-based damage dealers who attack out of turn. These are the masteries that I've had on Dark Elhaine since I've gotten Dark Elhaine on my account, so it's been a long time. And honestly, now that I look at it, it's a pretty traditional PvP build. Nothing too crazy here. I'm okay with it. I do have Sniper on her, which I'm wondering why I have. No, 75% on the decreased speed. My bad, I forgot about that. Sniper for me is mandatory on her. We love to land that decreased speed every time. We're as close to as possible. So getting that up to 80% really does make a difference. So I like Snapper. I like Snapper, ladies and gentlemen. There's the video. I like Sniper, and I like Master Hexer as a 2 tier 5 combo on the support side of things. And then on the offensive side of things, I would gravitate towards Helm Smasher if you're only using her against bosses, specifically Ice Golem, Frostbiter, etc. War Master works just fine as well. All right, wave content, arena content, I would gravitate towards Helm Smasher, especially if you're already running her in Savage or Lethal gear. All right, guys, now let's try her out, right? I gotta be honest with you. I want to jump into the arena here, but we gotta see her on that floor, right? Floor 112, man. This was made for her. We've got Donnie, we've got Scylla the Drakes, Marius, and Embreeze on this squad. Man, what a fun little team here. We got Freeze for days. So Marius kind of doing his thing there. Of course, Dark Elhaine's on your far left-hand side, and she's the slowest on the team, but she's going to open up with that A2 ability. We do land 1 decrease speed. There we go. Snapper. We land a Snapper, boys and girls. All right, let's get some. There we go. Finally, Embreeze got frozen, so not only does she go in there and obviously do a lot of damage, but she goes in there and controls the enemy team with 3 decreased speeds as well. I love that. She's provoked right now. Doesn't matter. She got frozen. She immediately got that stripped off. She replaced it with a buff. She got frozen. Boom. She's going to strip the freeze off, instantly activate the Death's Majesty. You may notice that she did get frozen. She didn't remove it that time. Why? Because it's a 1-turn cooldown on her passive. She can't keep doing it again and again and again and again and again. She does need to take a turn eventually. All right. So here we go again. Second wave, we just want somebody to get frozen, and there it is. Marius gets frozen. She goes right in with Death's Majesty. Beautiful. And we want somebody else to get frozen, please. And she got frozen. She goes right in again with Death Majesty ability and the turn meter fill. Now she's ready for her next turn, where hopefully we still have Death's Majesty. Actually, she just lost her turn to that freeze, but she just filled her turn meter and right back in to Death's Majesty again. Oh, look at that. She got frozen right back in to another Death's Majesty. And then we go. We just want her to take a turn. So this is why we can't have her so incredibly slow that she's not taking turns as well, right? She does have that turn meter fill built in, which is nice, but we don't want her like below, ideally, 180, 200 speed. We like her, you know, above that. So if that means that you have to, let me see the damage here too. If that means that you have to build your Dark Elhaine with speed on the boots and go for attack percentage as an ascension stat instead, I would advise you to. Because if you go too slow, like UDK slow on Dark Elhaine, you're not going to get her to return quite fast enough, and you're not going to get those resets of the passives because they are a 1-turn cooldown. But anyway, her damage is very, very nice here. In line with a Marius, which is saying a freaking lot. Marius is one of the best, if not the best, legendary champions in the game. Embrys does outdamage her, but man, he's a mythical freaking champion, one of the best out there as well, right? Granted, Embrys was in his base form in that battle. Let's go ahead and jump into the arena here, guys. I feel like it's Dark Elhaine. We don't need to make it. She's not a new champion. Don't need to make it a half an hour long video, but I gotta try some freeze teams to, you know, prove out my concept here. So we're gonna go with kind of the same combo in Donatello, a kind of recent previous fusion with the Ninja Turtles, Embrys, and Fabian, and of course our girl, and we're gonna see how we do here. I did find this Tormin and Hilvi team. Beautiful. People already starting to, now listen, at the time of this recording, I'm actually recording this on Christmas Day. It's going to go live a couple days later. Not everybody even has built Hilvi yet, so I expect to see a lot more Hilvi and Tormin teams. They're really an insane combination in the arena. But the first thing that I saw when I started to see how good they were together, the first thing I thought rather was, ooh, Dark Elhaine's going to be nasty now, huh? All right, so let's go in here. Oops, actually, totally went into a Volcanos. Not a good strategy there, Ash. Not a good strategy. We should have just went with, let's just see what we can... Hey, I'll take it, whatever. Not the best showcase, but she does eventually get that Death's Majesty, and we can go back-to-back Death's Majesty to kill Tormin there. Now, if I didn't screw that up right out the gate there, it would have been a lot better. Didn't take that long. We found another freeze team on our next refresh. Here we go. We've got Lady Noelle. We've got Polera. We mentioned Polera earlier being a very capable freeze champion in her own right. I do think she needs a big, big buff, but she's not, like, awful. She's a weird champion. She's not awful, but she's not great either, especially how difficult it is to get her. Anyway, let's go in alternate form here. Let's just open up with a bang here. Try to kill Lady Noelle, and we're already on a good start. Now, they're going to freeze us right there. We're going to strip it away, and we're going to go in with a nuke. Luckily, we didn't do much damage there because we actually don't want Siegfried to be the last kind of man standing here. Maybe I have to take Embrys off of this team, guys. I'm not going to lie to you, because he's just so freaking strong that he's kind of stealing the show a little bit in these first two battles. Now we can go in with Death's Majesty, though, and you can see, I mean, she can easily put out a lot of damage with, we're going to end it right here, though, or close to. She can put out a lot of damage with Death's Majesty, right? Like, no ifs, ands, or doubts about it. But she's not an elite damage dealer with Death's Majesty, right? And obviously under freeze, they're taking a lot less damage here. Let's swap HP there, and let's try to end Torm, because they're gonna get auto revived here by Polera's passive. But let's just keep chipping away here. Doesn't Polera look amazing, guys? She looks nasty. Let's pick at Tormin. That A1 can hit pretty hard from Dark Elhaine. Not only are we decreasing max HP, but 73k. Not bad at all, right? Let's just see if we can delete right there. And there we go. Okay, so that team down. Let me find one more. Check it out. Another Hilvi Tormin team. They got Star Sage Galathier, and they've got a Fabian as well here. So here we go. We're going to open up with our Fabian. My Fabian, by the way, is around 390 speed, but he's in, he has temporal chains, and he has supersonic gear on him. That is my favorite build by far. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm sure you, my viewers, you know, you guys know what's going on, right? But every time, even in live arena, I'm close to 20,000 now. I've been playing a ton of live arenas. And the number one thing that I do in the game right now. And look at this. We got that freeze, boom, instant activation, and we can go right back to it again. Instant activation again. Or not instant activation. We're actually using the ability, rather. Sorry. Really nice, right? Anytime I go against a Fabian team that isn't running that build, supersonic and temporal chains, especially if 6-star, but at least supersonic, man, I'm flabbergasted. Even at my level, I can't believe people aren't using it. All right, anyway, Death's Majesty, we have it available yet again. I mean, look at this. She is a cheat code. It honestly, it astounds me. I think it's because she's an epic. I think it's because she's an epic, endgame players refuse to use her in the arena. But with all the freeze going around in the arena, she is a force to be reckoned with, I'm telling you guys. All right, one more team here, guys, and this one's super, super tanky, so I'm a little worried. I'm a little scared, not gonna lie. But we have Embries on our squad too, so we'll be okay. And we got Fabian. Fabian goes in there, turn meter, after they buff turn meter fill, and then we win. Not really. We're going against a force of a team, and they're locking me out. Luckily, I have Donnie on the team with high resist, right, to cleanse everybody, and now we're in the driver's seat. I did think they have some polymorph there, so I'm tempting fate with that move, but whatever. Now let's go in, and let's just atomize. And now we got Cheshire Cat. Cheshire Cat actually takes out Dark Elhaine, so we didn't get... but we killed on the Embries reflect damage. I'm not gonna lie, guys. We won that battle, but it wasn't the most beautiful showcase of Dark Elhaine with a big goose egg there. I can't end on that. One more battle! And here it is, guys. It only took me one refresh. You're seeing a lot of this team go around. A lot of this team. And my player power, in case you guys missed it, by the way, is very, very high on this team. It's mainly because I have like 950 resist on Donatello. What was I gonna say? I thought of something on that last battle, and I'm totally drawing a blank. Something I wanted to point out to you guys. Oh, look at that, level 41 Hilvi though. They're just using it for the giggles here, for the combo. All right, we're gonna go in with our first Death's Majesty. Let's get rid of try to neutralize their reviver. And again, I mean, this time, oh, there we go. She got froze. We go in, we nuke him before he did anything. Beautiful. All right, guys, we're gonna end it there, man. But boy, what an insane champion in Dark Elhaine. She is somewhat of a niche pick, but freeze is becoming so much more prevalent in the game that it would behoove you guys to dust her out of the vault and give her a try from time to time. I promise you guys, you won't regret it. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.
From dusk till dawn, I turn my speakers on. Why they wanna play with the king? I told them meet LeBron. There's darkness in my city, wrong moves, and you won't see the sun. They be talking loud, but never been where the creatures hunt.